Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Untitled Movie. Oh, wait, I already messed it up. The Untitled
Yeah.
Film. We're not just talking about movies here, we're talking about film. And as all great critics know, there is a difference. Movies are lowbrow. We don't care anything about them, they're just pointless, empty entertainment. Film, however, very highbrow. It's for the rich people, the elites, because they're the only ones who can understand them. So, we are the elites, and we are here to discuss film. So this is the Untitled Film Podcast with Blake Collier, that's me, and my co-host Jamison Barsodi.
Hey, you got it right this time.
You would
It
think that after so many years of knowing you, I would know that how to say your last name.
well, to be fair to you, because we're physically in different places, a lot of our relationship has just been through text and various
Yes,
things like that. So you don't get to hear my name said, you just read it and
uh,
see it. So,
it's true. And but the two times that you have stopped in Tulsa to stay with us, I'm surprised that we didn't hear your last name at some point during those times. Does that seem weird to you?
uh
Or are
well,
y'all just not the kind of people that say your last name all the time?
please just call me Jameson. Mr. Barsodi is my father.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good to know.
So,
Good to
good
know.
to know. Um, yeah. So yeah, we're talking about the real shit. We're talking about
Yeah.
films, not movies.
Films.
Films. Yeah.
Yes.
Good distinction, Blake.
I mean, it's someone has to say it. And it might as well be me because I'm an asshole. So
Might as
So yeah, we're here today. We're talking about another movie, but we'll get to that here in a second. First off, we have business to get attend to, and that is naming our podcast. As you know, if you listen to our last episode, our pilot episode, you would know that we hadn't come up with a name. We were simply the Untitled Film Podcast, but we had a few ideas last time. I can't even remember what they were, so they can't be that great. But Jameson came to me a few weeks back with what? What was your idea?
well, my idea was that the whole like goal of the podcast was I guess originally so you and I could get together and just talk about movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it kind of developed in a way where my interests are like I kind of want to watch some movies that have been like in the back of my mind that really aren't like I don't know aren't aren't things that I've seen in a while and maybe haven't read like discourse on in a while or something like that. And I think you were also feeling similarly.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, what if we call it flyover films because these are films that are kind of generally forgotten about or just not talked
Mm-hmm.
about as much anymore. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just I, yeah.
And I heard this, and honestly I wasn't in love at the beginning, um, but it kind of it wore me down a little bit. I still wasn't okay. I still wasn't good with fly over. Like for some reason, it feels excessively long to me, like a lot of syllables. So I was like, what is in the same vein, but has a little bit more of a finesse to it. And so I thought fly by films. Short,
Flyby
sweet, to the
films.
point. Yes, there are people who are listening to this right now laughing at me that I am concerned about one syllable. But that one syllable is everything, people. Um, this is why we do a podcast about film. It's the small one syllable things in life that destroy everything.
Yeah, I mean, we can't get it down to, as few syllables as the Untitled Film Podcast, but
Yeah, exactly. So
exactly. But we can take out one syllable.
yeah,
Uh,
so
no,
so we
no,
finally got to where we both kind of like that. We were still
yeah.
giving ourselves the ability to shout out some new names, and how did that work out, Jameson?
Uh, I just got busy with other things, and then I forgot to think of
Mhm.
names.
Well, that's
So
fair.
I don't know. It didn't work out for me because I I just couldn't think of anything better.
And I did think. I thought hard. I used my old brain, as they say, and I could not think of anything else. I came up with camera obscura at one point, but that felt like it was a little too on the nose, a little bit too. I mean, it's an actual term, so is a type of pre-photographic, pre-film camera type of machinery. But yeah, it was a little too on the nose.
It's
But
also, I think we discovered with that name specifically too, it's hard to, well, and other names, it's hard to come up with a podcast name that isn't a band name already.
exactly,
So,
or hasn't been used by another
also
podcast.
on that note, if your band is called Flyby Films, please contact us and we'll figure something else out. Or we'll have you on the show. That
I mean,
could also
actually,
work.
reoccurring guests, I would think, would be a nice way to pay them.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So if
since
you're
we have no
listening out
money,
there, zero money. Absolutely nothing.
so Jameson did give ourselves the ability during the whole time of this recording that we are on right now to, if we come up with another name at any point, we're just going to scream it out. Doesn't matter where we are, how serious the topic is. We could be talking about, I don't know, finger breaking, whatever it is.
Which we will be
If we
talking
yell it
about.
out, then that null and voids our current decision, and we have to go back into discussion um, in that moment. But if we make it through this whole recording and I hit stop on the recording, Fly by Films is our name from here on out.
And I think you make an important point. I'm not going to let you get through on this if you just whisper the name.
Yeah,
You
it
have
has to
to
be
you have
shouted.
to yell. You have to shout it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout, let it all out.
As they
These
said in the
are the
80s.
things. This is good podcast content here.
Very very quality. Very quality.
So, do we have any other business? We've come up with our name so far.
Well, I have
Fly
some
by Films.
business. Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's been like 4 weeks since our last episode. I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember. I think we
Maybe
may
even
have
close to 5 at this point.
yeah, I think we may have alluded to our loyal listeners that that there was a reason why we were going to take so long between the pilot and the next episode. But you and I both did some traveling. Where
Mm.
did you go, Blake?
I went to the great land, the great green land of Ireland. Well, that's actually partially a lie of omission. I also went to Scotland and Wales and England, but really, I just flew by those on my way to Ireland.
Did you fly by the Queen?
I did. No, she flew by me.
Oh,
Yeah, she drove by and waved at me, specifically me.
nice.
Yeah, the cop on the motorcycle came up, and we were just walking on the street in Edinburgh. And all of a sudden, this motorcycle cop stops in the intersection of the street. We knew she was in town because she was staying at the Edinburgh Castle, and so we didn't expect to actually see her. But here we are walking, just sightseeing, probably finding a place to grab a beer or something. And this motorcycle cop comes up, blocks off the intersection, and here comes this parade of cars coming. And kid you not, as the car turns, we see the queen, and she's waving at everybody. And we got it on video. And no, it was not Helen Mirren.
Nice.
I've heard that she's a stunt double for the queen.
Oh, I mean,
She made that movie once. So
she made that movie. Yeah, The Queen, I think is what it was called.
yeah, and it was very good. But
I
was
haven't
Helen
seen
Mirren
it.
not good?
Yeah, I don't know. She was
It's yet to be
in.
seen.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What is my favorite Helen Mirren role?
Prime
I don't know.
Suspect, the TV series from BBC. It's her
Nice.
best work, easily.
Okay. I haven't seen Prime Suspect. Is it good?
Ooh, yeah, some good stuff. You kind of have to get past the datedness
Oh
of it,
no.
but it's totally worth it.
Blake, you died. Did the internet
That, my
go
friends,
out?
is the sound of Jamison's internet freezing. He's currently staring at me, frozen. We're going to see how this goes. If there's a sudden cut in the sound, we'll probably be back. And oh, he's back.
I'm back.
I was narrating what was going on, so the listeners would know, and they wouldn't miss you too much.
I'm sure they were they were very upset at my absence. They could feel that there was a loss.
Well, I mean, having to listen to this during that whole time is torture enough. So
You've got a beautiful voice, Blake. I like
that's
listening
very
to it.
kind of you. That's very kind.
Thank you.
It's better when I'm sick.
I bet it's sexier.
It is very much so.
Nice.
The vomit that happens afterwards, not so much. But yes.
Gross. Nice.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I went to Ireland.
Okay.
And visited the land of my son's people. My son being Seamus. He is our Irish potato farmer. We hope to raise him to be one day the old man in an Irish pub who just sits there every day with a beer in front of him and tells stories. That's literally what we have in mind for him. If he hits that mark, he's a success in our minds. So
nice. Did you see a lot of old men in pubs?
No, actually, of course, we didn't get to go to actual like hardcore small country town pubs. Most of the ones we went to were in at least moderately sized town pubs and restaurants and things like that. So, I mean, there were older people there, but not your typical kind of what Americans think of as an Irish pub, where they're singing songs and listening to, old men talk about mythology and crap like that. So, yeah, we didn't get any of that, but it was still fun. We had saw a lot of castles, saw a lot of ruins, a lot of ruins.
Did you see the Loch Ness monster?
I did not, and I was very sadly deeply saddened. Is what I meant to say. I had to take a pause there to reorient my mind.
Did you see
saddened to not see him?
But did you see the exciting news this week?
I did. I
Yeah.
did. They say that they apparently saw it.
Well, I read the article and it was like, there may have been a dinosaur in that lake. And I was like, this doesn't give you conclusive evidence. But I think they're supposing, or they found some evidence that, you know, the Loch Ness monster could exist in there. And so,
Nice.
yeah.
I saw the article. I didn't read it because, well,
That's not what you do in 2022. Who reads articles?
if it's not read to me, then no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, no, we were there for a week and a half, and we had a pretty good travel too, except for our final flight back from Denver to Tulsa. We had got kicked off that flight, had to stay the night in a hotel, and then get up early the next morning and take the next flight out. So missed another day of work, but I mean, really, who's sad about that? So
Yeah, I get that. I would love to take, you know, more days off work, but I don't know if I would trade days at work for extra travel days. That's
yeah,
the only like bad part of that bargain. But
yeah,
yeah.
especially travel days in airports
Yes.
and hotels.
I have a story about a travel day in an airport.
Yeah, so Jameson, where did you go?
So I heard you were going to Ireland, and I said I want to go as far away from Blake as possible. No, I made that joke last time. So if you didn't hear it, there you get another chance to laugh at it. Um, I went to Korea. So I went with a friend of mine who
Just for our audience, real quick, to clarify, this was North Korea.
uh, it yeah. we snuck into North Korea, and then we snuck out. No, it was South Korea. We flew into Seoul, and then we took a train to Busan, uh, and then we took a train away from Busan, and then we flew back out of Seoul. No,
did,
it was
did you save any? Did you save any children while you were on the train to Busan?
no.
Okay,
I
just
didn't
checking.
save. I didn't need to save any children. There, the zombies are exaggerated. They're not actually a danger
Oh, okay.
in real life. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what film does. Is it exaggerates? So just so
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
if you ever go on a train to Busan, the zombies aren't going to attack you. They're not fast. You know, you'll be fine.
So it's like
Total.
objects may be closer than they appear.
Exactly. It's totally
Yeah,
safe. Totally safe. Um,
that's fair.
yeah. No. So I went with a good friend of mine, and we actually were inspired to go from one of my favorite movies from the past 10 years, The Wailing, which is great, and
Oh, it's one of the greatest.
yeah,
Love it.
it's incredible. Um, but that movie takes place in the South Korean countryside, and it just looked so green and pretty, and we were like, let's go there. And then a couple years later, we made it work. Uh, it was great, except right as we get to our flight in San Francisco, we're about to board at 1 in the morning. And they go, "Oh, your connecting flight from Tokyo to Seoul has been canceled and moved from Thursday at 8 in the morning to Friday at 8 in the morning,
Mm.
making our layover from 4 hours to 28 hours." And then, yeah, and we were like, "Oh, okay, I guess we have to do that." And they were like, "Wait, we don't know if you're going to get deported back to the United States because you guys don't have visas for Japan." And we were like, we didn't think we needed visas for a 4 hour layover. They're like, yeah, but now it's a longer than 24 hours. And they had to like do a bunch of calling, and we almost like didn't get on the flight. We did. And when we got there, they were like, yeah, you guys can stay in the airport and that's all. You can't go into Japan. So we had to sleep in the airport and stay for 28 hours, which was definitely the low point of
Oh yeah.
the trip. So,
Yeah.
but it was a great trip. I would still do it again, even knowing, if someone was like, you still have to do that 28-hour layover, I would still do it again.
So explain to me how it took that long to get there, and yet your flight back only took you 4.5 hours.
Well, Korea is actually 16 hours in the future. They do everything before us. So
Oh,
when you think you're going to do something, Korea has actually already done it. And so when I
oh,
traveled back, I
sounds about
was
right.
yeah, I was just going from the future to
The
I
past,
guess the
well,
present.
or the present.
Yeah,
The present, yeah,
yeah, and that
because our current time zone is the present, even though
yeah,
I'm technically in the future.
yeah. You are in the future.
Dude, this podcast is officially the only podcast to time travel. It's like frequency. You and I are talking to each other. I'm talking to you from the future. You're talking to me from the past.
Does that make you my son? Are you wasn't that
I am
the
I am Jesus. I am Jesus, and you are Dennis Quaid.
yeah, yeah. So I'm the dad.
Yeah, you're the dad.
Oh,
See, you're getting your practice in.
this is crazy. Wow.
So if you burn something into the desk, I will be able to see it.
I don't have a match near me.
Oh, that's
So,
unfortunate. Well, I guess we can try that next time.
yeah. Yeah.
So, listeners, look forward to the next installment of what is, as of right now, called Flyby Films. When we try this time travel tactic, where Jameson burns a word or something into his desk, and I tell you what he says. It's gonna be a good time.
I think you have to don't you have to share the same location though? That's the one thing that we're missing. Is you are in the future. So if we can figure out a way to keep you in the future but also have you in my house, then
Oh, huh. I feel like there's a way to do that.
yeah, there's got to be.
Well, while we think on that, do we want to get into? Oh, first off, you didn't actually tell us anything about South Korea. Can you tell us one thing? I
One
told
thing.
you that we went to a bunch of ruins.
Okay. We went to a bunch of temples. That was pretty cool. There were a lot of Buddhist temples just everywhere, and they were really, really neat. They would be like kind of built into like hillsides. They would just be in the middle of the cities. Um, that was kind of a blast. One thing I really, really enjoyed about South Korea was the transit system makes so much sense. Even though
Mm-hmm.
I don't speak Korean, and the signs were like every once in a while would have an English word, but like most of the time they didn't. It
Mm-hmm.
was still really easy to figure out how to use the subway, how to use the bus system. And Busan is as far away as you can get basically from Seoul, um, with in the country, but they use the same card. They use the same Metro card between the
Oh.
two cities, and I'm guessing between all of the cities. But it was just a country that like they had thought about the idea that like what if some people don't have a car and they want to get around? Let's make our transit system, our public transportation system work well. So I really liked that.
Nice.
Yeah, especially as a tourist. Not I didn't want to rent a car in a new country. That seems
Mm-hmm.
like a very stressful hassle to me. But yeah.
That makes sense. Hey, we're gonna stop for a second because I just noticed that you say you're offline.
Oh no. It shows me that I'm recording.
Does it show you you're recording?
We should stop and check it out. So we'll be back
In just
after
a second.
these messages.
Sorry about that, everyone. We had a moment there where I was afraid that Jamison's audio was not going to actually be recorded, but everything was well. But we wanted to make sure that we got everyone's audio and that our explanation of our trips definitely got put into the podcast because that is going to probably be the best part. No,
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, we're gonna have better parts.
we're gonna have
We're,
better parts, but that was a good part.
that was a good part. Yeah.
It's
Our
like you get to learn about different cultures, sort of.
Yeah, sort of. Mostly about just two dinguses who went on different vacations,
Exactly.
uh
Yeah.
but yeah.
But it's important. It's the ambiance of the podcast.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Jameson, you came up with a film at the end of the last episode, and you gave it to me and said, "This is your mission if you choose to accept it." And I accepted it because I am Tom Cruise. And uh, it was the movie Computer Chess, right?
Yes, yeah, Computer Chess by the director Andrew Bujalski.
And this was the first film I'd seen by him. I'd heard of Support the Girls, but I had not seen any of them.
Yeah, Support the Girls is really good. So if you want to check out another one, I would definitely recommend that. But
Sweet. So,
yeah,
can you give us a little bit a background on computer chess and what was your first like what led you to watching this the first time?
okay, that's actually an interesting story. The first time I watched it, I was in Santa Cruz. I was in grad school, and I learned about this theater. Uh, it was the Del Mar, um, and it there was a yearly festival that I think they were about 8 or 9 years in at the time, called the Secret Film Festival. And what the secret wasn't the festival. People were allowed to know about the festival. But what the secret was what films they played. So the deal was you would go at midnight. It would start at midnight and go till 12, and you would watch, 5 or 6 movies, and they wouldn't tell you what they were. Um, they would maybe give you a brief description, like if you're squeamish, then they would kind of like give you a little bit of a warning. And there were 2 screens going at the time, so you could kind
Hmm.
of choose like, oh, I want the less,
Yeah.
bloody one. Um, but I went, and that became the thing that I looked forward to the most, every year while I was in grad school, was the Santa Cruz Secret Film Festival. So if you're a listener and you happen to be in Santa Cruz and you've never heard of that, I think they took. I don't know if they've restarted since 2020, because I know they stopped doing it in 2020 and
What
2021.
happened in 2020?
The pandemic, you know.
There was a pandemic?
Yeah. Uh, yes. I think.
Oh. Okay. You do
I mean,
you.
you are in the future, so maybe you experienced a different timeline,
I mean,
something like that.
I don't even know what the word pandemic means.
Well, in any case, they haven't been doing it for the past couple years. I actually don't know if they did it this year. I hope they eventually pick it back up, and it continues to be a thing, because it's really cool. That's a long way of explaining. The first time I saw computer chess was at one of these secret film festivals.
Nice.
Yeah, and I probably wasn't in the right frame of mind. It was probably like 2 or 3 in the morning,
Gotcha.
and I had like 5 cups of coffee at that point to help push me through the rest of the
Hmm.
festival. And here comes this scrappy little indie film that that looks like it was made, on a budget of $30.
Yeah.
Um, $30 and just a bunch of adopted cats,
Yeah, I was about to
like,
say in
right?
the local ASPCA.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but it's pretty cool too. I guess, like, I don't know. I'm a math guy. I'm kind of like a computery guy. And so it hit my little nerd buttons. Um, that uh, that phrase does not give me the good feeling. I'll try not to use nerd buttons again. Um,
Whereas I'm going to use it as much as possible.
oh no. Um, but yeah, so the movie is like a retro sci-fi movie that is a period piece that takes place in the 80s, and it follows a conference of sorts, or a I guess a tournament,
Hmm.
where a bunch of leading uh, computer chess experts get together, and they play their computer programs against each other, and they hold a tournament and see who the best computer chess program is. And then at the end of that tournament, the computer chess program that wins gets to play an actual chess master. And so the movie follows kind of in a documentary style um, of this tournament. Yeah,
And weird things happen,
weird things start happening.
including the independent. Uh, what did they call him? Independent developer,
Oh yeah, yeah. Papa George,
Papa George. Yeah.
Papa George.
No, we aren't saying his name was Papa George. That was his whole last name, Papa George.
Papa George. Although
Yep.
that is how it's spelled,
Yep.
Papa
Hmm.
George. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's kind of a scrappy, egotistical, pretty much what you would consider independent developer of a chess computer or a chess playing computer.
I
That
have
he doesn't act like. Do we actually even see? Well, we see sort of his game at the end, towards the end of the movie, but up until that point, we mainly just are around him trying to figure out how to get a room.
yeah, yeah. If you've ever seen the episode of The Office where Jim and Pam gets married and
Yeah,
Michael doesn't have a room, he forgot to make a reservation, and so he's just wandering around. That's the role Papa George plays
yeah.
in this little tournament. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of like the bare bones setup of it. We can get into the different characters. I actually did want to talk about Papa George, but what did you think of the movie, Blake?
So I deeply enjoyed it. It is somehow not what I expected, but I also kind of expected not to expect it. Just because this is the kind of independent film that I tend to like a lot, because it's got a lot of things on its mind. Uh, Clearly, the guy who directed it has some chops. He knows how to edit a film into a way, in such a way that it kind of keeps you on your toes. Um, and I'm a sucker for the nostalgia retro feel of the like the Betamax VHS kind of quality of film, and so um, but yeah, I did not see the ending coming. Um, and I'm sure we'll get into that at some point, but I was really kind of impressed. Like it, it almost reminds me of a Seinfeld episode, because it feels like a show that's about a movie that's about a lot of things, but actually about a whole lot of nothing at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could see Seinfeld. There's definitely Seinfeld-esque
Yeah.
conversations that happen in it.
Hmm.
Lines that Larry David could have written. So
Oh, easily. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I could definitely see Larry David and at least the two or three of the characters. Um, yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It kind of took me a second to process what I just watched, but once I kind of thought about it for a few days afterwards, I was like, that's a cheeky little film, and I like it.
yeah, yeah. And I hadn't seen it for I guess 9 years, and I watched it, and well, probably like 8 years. Doesn't
Hmm.
matter. And I watched it and I was like, "Oh, I like this. This is good. It still kind of holds up. It's still kind of fun."
Hmm.
It also came out in the same year as Her, and so I feel like these movies are both kind of like movies about AI and
Yeah,
AI sentience and stuff like that. So
but this one was significantly more interesting in my opinion. I
yeah,
mean, I don't get me wrong. I love Joaquin Phoenix, and so I will go watch anything the guy's in. But her, it was fine.
yeah, I think I felt similarly about Her. Like this one I think about more often.
Yeah,
This one kind of sticks with me a little bit more. And maybe that's because like Her felt kind of like slick to me,
yeah.
and this movie this movie's almost kind of hard to watch. Sometimes it's a little
Right.
jarring, and it has that VHS Betamax feel you were talking about that is just kind of grainy.
When
Uh,
it feels like a lot of the people he got to be in the movie were not typical. Like they didn't like they weren't actors in the strict sense.
yeah,
Like in some ways, it felt like they were being fairly like normy.
yeah, I kind of wonder about that. And actually, I think I looked at the IMDb page, and like a lot of the actors haven't really done much since too. So
Yeah.
I think that might actually be kind of true. I think I got the feeling that he's kind of like an Austin filmmaker. I don't
Okay.
actually know this, but a lot of it kind of felt. I don't know why I thought that way. I don't know. This is going nowhere, so I think
Do
I've
you
lost my train of thought.
do you think he knows Richard Linklater?
So I think maybe that's what it was. Is I saw some like names, and Richard Linklater was one of them, and that's it kind of associated that
Hmm.
in my head. But
I
uh,
think I think whenever I hear of a Austin based um, film or actor or something like that, I always my first question in mind is, did Linklater produce it? Because I feel like he's kind of got his hands in like a lot of the Austin film scene. Like
yeah,
he's everywhere there. So
yeah.
yeah.
Just
So
just so we can connect to our previous episode.
uh
Uh, every time I think of Linklater, I'm always reminded of the fact that Alex Jones was in Waking Life.
he
Uh,
was.
I think so. I think he's a
Oh
character
wow,
in Waking Life. He's in one of Richard Linklater's movies, and it was like, it was before he was completely insane. But
wow.
yeah,
That's that's crazy.
yeah, that's a movie I haven't seen in a while, and I didn't like it when I saw it, but I was young when I first saw it, and I was like, "This is boring. Why are these animated people just talking all the time? It's just
They
so
should be
boring."
blowing shit up.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a teen. I have needs.
I'm angsty.
Um, yeah, yeah. That was that was definitely my thought process.
So where do we jump into a film like this?
I guess well, so I was originally thinking of this movie because of this uh computer engineer who was in the news a month ago, named his name was Blake
Mm-hmm.
Lemoine.
Mm-hmm.
And Blake Lemoine is now very infamous for claiming that a Google chatbot had sentience. And so I was like thinking to myself, oh, what are some movies that deal with robots kind of and sentience? And
Mm-hmm.
this one popped into my mind. So I feel like that discussion has probably already been discussed. So if you're like, I'm done reading papers on Blake Lemoine and whatnot, then I guess this podcast isn't for you. I'm sorry. But yeah, that was kind of why I wanted to revisit it. And I think it does kind of an interesting job of building that idea up too, because it's very, very subtle
Mm-hmm.
in this film. I think so kind of the main character of the movie is this computer programmer named Peter,
Mm-hmm.
and he is on the team from the program that won last year, at
Yeah.
least the previous version.
Mm-hmm.
And
The
so
Czar 2 or 1.0, I think it
I
was. I
think it
think it was
was
2.0.
I think it was 2.0 that won, and now
And then it's
they're on
around
3.0.
3.0. Gotcha.
Yeah. And so they start playing, and then they start realizing that their program is actually really bad at chess, which isn't the point. The point is to be good at chess
Yeah.
in the chess tournament,
Mm-hmm.
Uh so they, so Peter like goes off and it's his job to kind of figure out what is going on, and he's waiting for his PhD advisor to show up, I'm sure, he's the only grad student who's ever had that experience. Um but yeah, he's just waiting for, his advisor to show up, because his advisor was, this is actually his program and he's just kind of the code monkey, for it. But yeah, so Peter kind of starts doing these tests and looking for, why is this program uh, kind of playing so poorly, and he starts to notice and go with this hypothesis that, oh, maybe the computer program is actually bored of playing against other computer programs.
Mm-hmm.
And so he invites the one girl in the tournament.
Who they make very clear is a girl at every chance.
Yeah, yeah. They make sure to say, and the one girl in this tournament, the first girl to ever be in this tournament, uh,
And we were happy to have her.
and we're happy to have her. Yeah. Um, he invites her to play chess against the program, and immediately you start seeing that the program is a lot more interested in playing against this
Mm-hmm.
person. Um, so so he starts to kind of develop this hypothesis that maybe the program has some sentience to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's kind of I just think it's so interesting how it kind of builds that up, like, you get these breadcrumbs that is this team just bad at what they do, or did they fuck up or something like that, but
Is there something weird going on with the PhD? The guy who created the program. Are they selling their secrets to the military or something like that?
yeah, yeah.
Which is classic conspiracy theory fodder right there. So
Yeah. Yeah, and then while all this is going on, there's another group, right? Do you
yeah,
want do you want to explain this group, Blake?
it's a couples therapy group.
Yeah.
But the teacher is from Africa. I don't think they clarify where in Africa, do they? Feel like the guy that's like trying to get a swinger party going uh, says Nairobi or something like that at one point. Anyways, they're at this couples therapy, and every time they show them, it's they're doing some weird exercise where like they're like sticking their hand into a fresh loaf of warm bread
Oh
and
yeah.
feeling around, and they're moaning while they do it. It's like this weird like sexual therapeutic activity or something. They're
Yeah, I
supposed to
think
grow closer as a couple, I think.
I think they do some group births
Yeah.
too.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
Papa George gets to experience that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Papa George, at one point, because he's still, the whole time he's constantly looking for a room. He ends up sleeping in the conference room, and that's actually the room that the couples therapy is in first before the computer chess players play. And so he wakes up and they invite him into their space and they give birth to him, so he's renewed. um yeah. So what do you think about the sentience of the SAR 3.0?
so so when the computer started making the bad moves, I think what's going to happen here is the computer is becoming so intelligent that it's doing moves in such a way it looks like it's losing, but it's actually luring people into a trap. and it's going to like take lesser, like a less smaller amount of moves to kill them or to checkmate. And that clearly became not the case because they lose the first round, and it's clearly the computer is losing every, like, making horrible moves. Um, but I think what makes that kind of through line so fascinating is there's this other kind of crossing thread where the people that are supposed to be quote unquote human either become more AI or they get stuck in AI type feedback loops, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Papa George, especially, kind of, we the last time we see him, he's basically going around in circles in a endless feedback loop in his mother's house, and and then of course the classic iconic last scene is, Peter brings a I guess a prostitute into
Mm-hmm.
his room, and the final scene you see is her taking part of her skull off, and there's wires stuff in
Yeah.
there, so it's like she was AI the whole time. So I found that the cross section of those, the computer becoming more human and the people becoming more machine, to be the most like brilliant part of the movie, is to show that kind of, because I feel like if you go fully one way or the other, like, we've seen it before, but we haven't really seen it in relief against each other, I don't think, or at least I can't think of one off the top of my head that does it so cleverly. Um, and so I think if it had only been one of those things at any point, like, I would have been less interested. But seeing that kind of one side devolve and the other side kind of ascend was really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, I almost think like kind of along those lines, like Peter, he's almost kind of a tragic figure because he it's like he's like, you know, working with this computer, and it's taken him away from people in a way. Like
Hmm.
he he's so focused on thinking of the world programmatically.
Yeah.
And then he gets this chance where the machine is like, "Oh, no, this isn't the way." And he gets this chance to like, "Oh, maybe this machine can take me out of this."
Yeah.
And there's this scene, where he goes and he talks to his PhD advisor, and he tells him like, I think this might be happening, and his PhD advisor basically just shuts him down and is like,
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy talk. Don't think about that. You are this isn't worth your time. This isn't how your world is going to work. You need to think about, programs and math and numbers, and that needs to be your world.
Mm-hmm.
Very deterministic.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the point that like kind of kills something inside of him, because there's this point later on. So he has this weird get together with the swingers, who
Yeah.
almost want to, they want to open him up more, way too beyond what he's comfortable with.
Yeah.
And I think that also kind of freaks him out. But there's this sweet moment right before the end where he's approached by the girl
Mm-hmm.
who is in the tournament, and you can tell that she's kind of hitting on him, she's interested in him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such an interesting conversation. So she tells him about this dream that she had,
Yeah.
where all of the people start moving as chess pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And she's saying, "Oh, isn't this a fascinating thing about the world?" And he keeps asking her, well, did you see anything magic happen? Did you see anything beyond the programmatic happen? Did you see someone bump into another person and that person disappear? Or did you see, a horse teleport in an L shape? And she's like, "No, I didn't I didn't see that. Like there's still physical laws
Mhm.
like." And and at that point, like he again shuts down, and he can't, like, accept the humanity that she's giving him.
Yeah.
And then she leaves, and at the end he chooses this prostitute, and he treats her like a machine. Whether or
Hmm.
not she was one, you
Hmm.
see that, like, that's kind of how he's committed to seeing relationships with people now, because he's been so disillusioned. uh
So do you think that the so I think the question for me then is, do you think he was destined for that end, or did the machine finally crack him? And if AI becomes, if the singularity happens and AI becomes sentient, does that mean that they will eventually drive us all to become mere machine?
I have one of my favorite jokes with this is, like, we usually have these two ideas, like the singularity happens, and then, like robots do all this work to make our society perfect.
Yeah.
Or the singularity happens and robots, you know o- overtake us, like Skynet,
Hmm.
and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And I'm like, well, what if the singularity happens and robots just get high and sit on the beach all day? Like, they're like, "Oh, we could just do this. We don't need your systems. We don't need money. We're just gonna, chill all day." And I kind of think that I don't know. I think that the machine in this movie almost takes that tactic where, like, you know, it's it's not it's not interested in thinking, in being kind of used to win tournaments. It's
Yeah.
not interested in stuff like that. And, it just kind of wants to be understood. It just kind of wants to connect. And I think that's like a, I don't know, a more interesting version of, of future with machines. Uh yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I could also see a world where they're all getting fried on the beach, and they can literally solve all of the world's problems. They just have no motivation to.
They just don't want to.
They're just like, what? Why?
Cuz I mean, most of those problems are not interesting. I mean, they are in some ways, and there are worthwhile problems to go after, but
But that also begs the question of, are we anthropomorphizing machines if the
mm,
singularity happens?
yeah.
Because would they actually act like us if they become sentient?
Yeah, so this is actually a good question. So do you think Peter was just anthropomorphizing his thing, and then maybe in general, what do you think about this guy, Blake Lemoyne's uh, claims?
Uh, I mean, I'm just enough of a weirdo to be like, I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna just flat out refuse to believe what he says. But admittedly, if unless there's more to his story than what is in the articles I've read, I don't think there's enough going on there for me to fully buy in to the quote unquote sentience of this program. Um, I think if I'd seen a computer play chess and I saw the computer do the things that it did in this movie, I might be more convinced. Where it was specifically choosing who it would want as its opponent or as its conversational partner or whatever it may be, and clearly showing favoritism towards, you know, a type of opponent. So,
I will take it one step further than you with regards to Blake Lemoine. Dude is full of shit. I'll just, I mean, no, actually, so there was an NPR article that that I sent you on this,
mhm,
and it was an interview, I think, with Bobby Allen from NPR, and um, and I do think Lemoyne makes an interesting distinction where he says, like, who he poses this question that I think is actually really interesting, and I'm like, okay, you got me a little bit. You know, who am I to say what God can put a soul into? You know, and
okay.
I'm like, okay. And then I have to think like, okay, what do I think has souls? Well, I think rocks have souls. Like, you know, I think, you
Yeah.
know, but I don't think rocks are sentient. Like, and so I guess like if you're conflating sentience and souls, then yeah,
Mm,
I don't think the program is sentient. The Lambda chatbot, it's this is what I do for work. I work on AI that make decisions and
mhm.
predict things. It's just a fancy function. If you took pre-calculus and you learned about how to compose functions, you know exactly the mechanics of what's happening.
Yeah.
There's a determined input and a determined output, and that's what is happening. Now,
Hmm.
sure, I don't know if people are more than just that. I believe that they're more than that. I
Hmm.
believe that we're not just determined input, determined output.
Yeah.
But I know that this thing is just that.
Yeah.
So I know that there's a level there, you know, or I believe that there's a level there of separation. So
Hmm.
that's 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 where I think like, okay, you know, he's definitely he's gotten too close to the magic, and he,
Yeah.
you know, too close to the illusion, and he believes it's magic. Um, but whether or not it has a soul, I mean, we say music has a soul. We say like we understand what that means,
Hmm.
and this AI is definitely going to be a reflection of us in a sense,
Yeah.
because that's how machine learning programs learn, is they just take in data from us and they
Hmm.
create reflections in a way. And I think people like Blake Lemoine have interesting positions in the world because they're supposed to kind of keep an eye on what types of biases and what types of
Yeah.
things creep into these AI, and that's an important field. But yeah, I think he's a little off his rocker.
Smoked a little bit too much, maybe.
Yeah, and if you if you read about him, I think you might agree.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I yeah. I mean, you could even go back to some of the ancient religious philosophers, and then you can make a distinction between even soul and spirit, because they made a distinction between those two things as well. Now, I haven't read any of that stuff in years, so I'm not going to even try to distinguish how they clarified the difference between those two things. But there are plenty of people who have thought about that and have made a distinction between those things. So not only do we have to deal with the issue of does sentience mean something has a soul, or does a soul mean sentience, but you also have to take into account that there might be another factor, and that is the spirit. So what are any of these things, and what quote unquote means it is living or intelligent, or, you know, pick your poison,
I've always
conscious.
yeah, I've always thought though, like, and I think the movie kind of exemplifies this too. where it's so funny what we think is intelligence,
Yeah.
right? We think like being good at chess is intelligence. Like
Yeah.
we think solving, well, I'm a math guy, so I know like solving some math problems actually takes a certain level of creativity and intelligence and a multi-sensory approach, not
Yeah.
just computing numbers. But we're easily tricked into thinking that 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 silly games and silly computations are intelligence, and
Yeah.
we easily kind of uh, get tricked by that. But like, I think the harder thing, and I think what we kind of realized 10 years ago when cars we started to try to do autonomous cars
Mm-hmm.
was the harder thing is actually pulling in all of our senses and just kind of making a coherent narrative of
Mm-hmm.
what's going on around us. And this is something that kids do when they're
Mm-hmm.
really young. And kids are dumb as shit. They're that's they they're just stupid, you know. And we say that, but they're actually really, really smart, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're intelligent beings, and it's that type of intelligence that's actually really hard to replicate.
Yeah.
So you can create a program that you can create Deep Blue, you can create Deep Mind AlphaGo, which is even a greater accomplishment than Deep Blue. It beat the Go players,
Mm.
um,
Yeah.
and you can do that, but you can't, you know, you can't have you can't create a computer that can do something every 16-year-old who, you get frustrated at and you think is the, you worry about the future of our country. They
Yeah.
can drive a car,
Yeah.
every 16-year-old can do, well, not every 16-year-old, but you get my point.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's we've realized that intelligence is uh, a lot harder.
Oh well, yeah, and not only that, but we've at least in a lot of fields, sociology, geology, all sorts of things, we notice that there's natural intelligence too, in the sense that the way animals react, interact, the way rivers, trees create root systems, things like this. These are all quote unquote intelligence. Like this is these things survive in you know unsurvivable landscapes, things like that. And so you know what actually is intelligence? Are we basing it just simply on a human scale because we're egotistical creatures and we see everything through the eyes of quote unquote humanity, and so we're superior in that way? um, or do we is intelligence more than just the brain or the computation or learning to do a really complicated and complex game well? I mean it's like my I have for quite a while questioned what true intelligence actually is. I'm not convinced I can come up with a good definition because I'm not sure that there is a really like core defined idea of what it is. So
Yeah, yeah, and I think what you're talking about too, like, is so interesting because especially like I almost feel like in order to create an actual intelligent thing, we would need to answer that question that you're saying, which is like what actually is intelligence? But in the examples that we have of AI, artificial intelligence, they're always approximations of us.
hmm
And we know that there is intelligence outside of us. We know that there are other types of intelligence, and I'm not talking about aliens. I'm
Hmm.
actually talking about things like elephants.
Oh,
And uh and octopuses and things like that. Actually, we know that octopuses are really smart. I have a
wait.
confession.
Is it octopuses or is it octopi?
I don't know. I
Oh.
never remember this. I never remember if it's octopi or octopuses. Um, if you're listening right now, if you've made it an hour into our podcast, please leave us an angry message telling us which one it is. I would love that. And we will read it in the next episode.
Well,
Uh,
we would play it if it's a voicemail.
yeah, and the angrier the better.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, very much so.
yeah, but but I actually have a confession to make. When I went to Korea, I wanted to get some octopus, and we went to this restaurant, and they cut up a live octopus for us, and we ate it old boy style. So
Nice.
um, I told my wife this, and she was actually pretty upset with me because octopuses are very smart, and she was like, "How could you do that?" Um, and
They're
that's a
very
good point.
smart, but they're also very isolated or isolative. They're loners.
Yeah,
So as one of my favorite authors writes about, Justin E.H. Smith, he actually talked about the octopus not long ago, and he said, "What is intelligence if it's not shared? Like if you're a highly intelligent being that is isolative, that stays by itself and only lives for like 5 to 7 years, like is that actually intelligence if it can't be shared or it can't be, you know, pushed forward somehow to something else or another octopus or another being or something like that?"
hmm, yeah, passed down, remembered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something. So,
Was that in the? So you sent me an article by Justin E. Smith. Was that the "No Minds Without Other Minds"? It
yes,
feels like
yeah, yeah,
that title.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was such a good article. I didn't.
yeah.
I it was so. It was so good.
He's heady.
I
He can
feel
be
like
super heady.
all of the thoughts that I was having, like watching this movie and like reading. We'll talk about the other article
Yeah.
that we read. We have to talk about it because it was basically a book that I forced you to read.
Oh, I
So,
enjoyed every minute of it.
uh,
I no complaints here.
yeah, but I felt like all of the thoughts and feelings that I was having, like, considering this movie, considering these things, like he was just like already way ahead of me writing them down in just a much more beautiful way. Um, it was a joy to read that. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's fantastic.
yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah.
there's a reason I subscribe to him. I actually pay for it. He's very good. Um, yeah. So you did offer up a article that was entitled "Do Elephants Have Souls?" Correct.
Yeah, do elephants have souls?
And it was in the New Atlantis, which is a publication I also really enjoy often.
Yeah,
They kind of write about science and technology and kind of culture, things like that. Another writer I really like writes for them quite often, Alan Jacobs. And so, whenever he writes something, I read it there. But yeah, so I don't remember the author's name. She must be an elephant maniac, though,
yes.
because goodness, she had a lot of information.
It was Katrine Kuiper was her
Yes.
name. So yeah, no, it's it's a fantastic article, and I feel closer to elephants having read it, just because like
Oh, yeah.
you know And there were so many stories in it and resources afterwards. But yeah, it was. She definitely must be an elephant fanatic.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Well, and it's one of those things. Like the way she was telling the story, it was, and I love people who do this. They lead you along the path of what you expect to read, and then they pull the rug out from under you. So like there's times when you're like, she's so much of an animal lover that she's gonna, hound on these people who are hunting and killing them. But then she tells a story about this I think it was a reporter who followed this hunter who was searching for this dangerous killer elephant who had basically been mistreated and ultimately took it out on numerous people. And he was like, I mean, this hunter doesn't give two shits about this elephant. Like he just wants to, kill it. Turns out that this guy who was tracking down this elephant is in love with the elephants
Hmm.
and always gives them the opportunity to mend their ways before he shoots them. And you're just like, what?
Yeah, he like gives them. I think he like calls it like a trial or something, or he
Yeah,
likens it to how we give people trials and
yeah,
stuff. Uh, yeah, that was one of my favorite parts of the article, and I think there's a book based on that, like I think it's called To the Elephant Graveyard or something like
yes,
that.
yeah, yeah.
I
That sounds
wanna
right.
yeah, I put it on my list of like books I need to read now because that definitely fascinated me.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the I mean, she makes a really interesting point, and she does it by looking at it philosophically and sociologically, biologically. All like she literally covers a lot of ground, and
Hmm.
and like you said, it's a pretty lengthy essay. Um, it took me 2 or 3 days to finish it,
Yeah, I read it
and so
in the Tokyo airport
nice,
while I had
nice.
time.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I was really impressed with the way she was enumerating her points, and that science has this taboo about anthropomorphizing animals because it quote unquote gets in the way of the actual scientific method of you know understanding the creature itself on its own terms, which makes complete sense.
Hmm.
But then she'll go and she'll make cases for why that actually ends up failing a lot of times.
Hmm.
That going in the opposite direction and being cold and studied and things like this actually doesn't help either. And so there's this fine line of how do we understand another species that we is completely different from us, that through a lens by which we will always see ourselves. um, and so that I found that to be the most compelling part is how do we even know what hell, I mean, even on like if you there's a very like super short story uh, that was the basis of the movie The Box by
Oh yeah,
Richard Kelly,
Kelly. Yeah.
by Richard Matheson. And the whole thing is, a man shows up at this couple's house and he says, if you, push this button in this box, someone you don't know will die, but you'll get this money. And they think on it and they think on it and they finally decide to push the button. So the wife pushes the button and her husband dies eventually. And the final kind of moment of the short story is, well, you don't really actually know him. Like it's this question of, do we even know our significant other? Do we
Yeah.
even know our family? And let alone a whole nother species. Like,
Yeah.
what is it to put our mind into the mind of something that we have no basis of understanding? And so like the way she just went about that in that article was just really compelling. And all the difficulties and kind of the ways that we can falter in understanding those things.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, the box is criminally underrated. By the way,
Amen.
I just need to throw that out there. Richard Kelly, I know you're out there listening. You need to make another movie. It's been many years. I'm appreciative that you re-released Southland Tales, and maybe the momentum from that is gonna carry you to another movie. But
The last I heard, he was supposed to be making a biopic of Rod Serling.
that sounds right up his alley.
Yeah, it
Perfect.
really does. It really
Perfect.
does.
All right. Well, I look forward to that. I look forward to that. Anyway, but yeah, I think the point you're making almost kind of fits into this this article about no minds without other minds. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, we don't, you know, if we're so far like removed from the elephant, if we keep such a scientific approach and we don't like allow these other creatures kind of in to us too and into our lives, can they really share their intelligence to us?
Yeah.
And so can we even answer these questions of like, do they have souls? At what level, should we care about them if
Hmm.
we're just uh so cold towards them? And I think,
Hmm.
I got the feeling that that was a lot of what she was trying to get you to see was just, yeah, this approach doesn't work. Yes, there are dangers to, turning an elephant into a mirror image of yourself, but there's also dangers to not,
Hmm.
not getting close. Um,
When I think the problem that she points out is science makes anthropomorphizing taboo for the wrong reasons. It's the reason why we shouldn't do it is because we're ultimately going to make them in our image, like you said. But she makes the case that it should be okay to, like you also said, bring them into our life and to show commonalities, to share those commonalities, because there are elements of the elephant that clearly share commonalities with humans. And so to relate with them on that level is not anthropomorphizing, it's recognizing common ground.
mhm,
It's basically rejecting anthropomorphizing because it is egotistical. We are only seeing them as um, human stand-ins, maybe, or
yeah.
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, she uh she gives this interesting kind of test to to elephants to show their commonalities between
Mm-hmm.
us. And I think I forget who invented it. I don't have his name off the top of my head, but it was like a philosopher who came up with this this test called tool, image, and grave.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
for to kind of like see um, I don't even think it was a test necessarily. I think she actually uses it as a test, but it was more just kind of core things to humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea was that like humans create tools.
Mm-hmm.
We do that. That's something maybe some other creatures do this too, but it's kind of a unique thing. Um, we also uh, make images of ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
art. We we mirror ourselves into things to illuminate
Mm-hmm.
truths and things like that. And that's a fairly unique thing. And then grave, the last one, is we remember our dead,
Yeah.
and we
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 mourn and bury them.
mourn and we bury them. and and we talk about them, we keep them, with us throughout our
Hmm.
lives, and that is also a very, very human thing. And so this philosopher, again, I'm forgetting his name, but he boiled it down. He tried to boil humanity down to these three things, and then she goes and she shows, like, look, elephants actually do all of these things.
Yeah.
um,
Yep.
they will grab sticks and they will use it to, like, get things out of um,
Their toes
their
and things like
toes.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually thought that was kind of the weakest one of,
Yeah. Yeah.
but but the next two I think are even more core human things. And she talked about these interesting cases of these elephants who learn to, like, draw flowers, and
Hmm.
then, even stronger elephants remember their dead, and they they
Yeah.
they bury their dead. And this is a crazy thing about elephants.
And they remember the exact area to
They
where if they're crossing that area once again, they'll stop and they'll like mourn or seemingly mourn uh, in,
Yeah, I, w-
at
I
that
was
area.
I was talking to a friend, and they mentioned, I don't know if this is true. I should have looked it up, but they mentioned that elephants have intergenerational memory, uh,
Oh, wow.
which just seems crazy to me
I
too.
mean, it
I mean,
seems fitting within
sure,
what is said in the article. So
yeah, yeah, but yeah, I was very fascinated by that test that she uses, because I think it's so interesting in comparison to something like the Turing test.
hmm.
If you compare it to that, and I wonder if you could do some sort of test like that to humanity in a machine. There shouldn't be a reason why you couldn't also deploy something like that and say, like,
Yeah.
is this AI creating tools? Is it making images of itself? Does it
Hmm.
remember it's dead? What does it even mean to be, a dead AI or something like that?
Yeah.
And
Doesn't that defeat the point of AI? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
yeah.
But I think I almost feel like it's a much more interesting test of humanity and kind of intelligence and soul than something that just kind of measures, did you score highly on this game that I've given you. And
Yeah.
I know, that's probably being flippant about the Turing test. A lot of really intelligent people have worked on fleshing that thing out and and
Well, yeah.
stuff. But yeah.
But just because, I mean, I think you could make the point that intelligence doesn't have to be monolithic. Intelligence can be a multivalenced, multivariate thing.
Hmm.
Um, there can be different types of intelligence. There's emotional intelligence is different than brain intelligence. I happen to be a little, I happen to be a fairly smart person. My wife is way more emotionally intelligent than I am. I am a dumbass when it comes to emotions. So, uh, and I wouldn't like I don't trust my emotions because of how I recognize that I'm just not good at picking up on those cues emotionally. And so, um, but I can tell you a lot of really interesting facts about British imperialism for whatever that counts. So there you go.
Did you get to when you were, like, over at the in the British Isles and whatnot?
Yeah.
Was that part of your mind being tickled at all?
To some extent, like so, we actually got to take a unauthorized tour of Dublin. Um, they said it was unauthorized. I mean, it's basically a bunch of researchers slash students that take people around a couple times a day during the summer, and it's like an hour, like 75-minute walking tour, and but they tell you like pretty much the general history of Ireland from development to uh, 1922, which is the Easter Rising. And so, I mean, it was really fascinating and like unauthorized in the sense that they had security guards that knew them and would like hold them accountable if they were like stepping in the way of people or something like that. They would like yell at the guides and say like, "Get out of the way! Get your people out of the way!" That kind of stuff. So like he's he would talk about, "Oh yeah, I know that guy. Let's I'm gonna try to keep it quiet so I don't get his attention." So like yeah, there are elements of learning about the Irish history and kind of just generally seeing the ruins and stuff like that itched a lot of that kind of knowledge. But um, yeah, I found myself really strangely philosophically minded while I was there, just thinking about the nature of like what is it to be like what is culture like what even is being in a different country um like it's all made up like ultimately like it's like
Yeah. No, I was, man, I had this experience going to, like, getting into the Japanese airport was stressful because we didn't know if we were going to be deported, but they were just so nice to us still.
yeah
And like, we were like holding up the line and they had to like move us aside, but people were like coming with like different like baggage carts and then they would like
uh-huh
send it to us, and we actually got into this rhythm where we were just like helping them put them away while like we were waiting to see like, are they going to let us in to the airport and whatnot.
wow
And it was just it was just kind of relaxing in that sense that like, oh, at least they see us as a human. And then it was so different, and then also entering Korea was so easy and they were so friendly. It was so different than when we got back to the
yeah
US. There were people barking, there was this guy that was like, "Put your phone away or else I'm going to take it away." And it was
yeah
just weird. And yeah, thinking about borders and cultures and things like that.
yeah
It's
it
very,
it
very
just
fascinating.
it
I have
is
an interesting tidbit about my wife in Dublin. She was actually born in Dublin.
oh
Uh,
what
yeah, she is a dual citizen because her
oh
parents
wow
were U.S. citizens, and she was born in Dublin. And it was a couple years before they changed the laws, saying like you can't just be an anchor baby and be like,
ah gotcha
and get citizenship. So, but she
but she
has,
is
yeah, she has her
that's
Irish
awesome
passport. It needs to be updated. She hasn't, still has her maiden name on it, but
has she been back since
no, that's
no
one of our goals. Yeah,
yeah
yeah.
well I hate to break it to you but Dublin you can see it in a day really most of the interesting stuff is outside of Dublin.
All right, all right. I mean, I figured that, but yeah.
So, but what does any of this have to do with intelligence?
Oh,
AI. No,
I
I'm just
don't
kidding.
know. I don't know. I think I'm AI spent. Uh
Yeah,
I mean, I like that stuff. Like I said, that's what I do for my job is
yeah.
work on different machine learning programs and uh and AI. But like, yeah, I think I think at this point maybe I'm just talking in circles.
Well, oh, so you're in endless feedback loop.
I'm talking in loops. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did enjoy this movie. I think there's a lot to it. I think that's it's well worth a watch, and there's just a lot of really creative things that he does. I mean, we hardly even touched on the couples therapy thing,
Oh,
but there is so much there that just was wild and like I mean, trying to figure out what part that plays into kind of the bigger contrast, like theme wise. I'm not entirely sure I fully like have figured out that aspect.
Yeah, the only yeah, so there's like two kind of main oh, there's like three. There's three main scenes I feel like with the couples group where they
Mm-hmm.
intersect with the computer programmers. The first one that comes to mind is the Papa George one we already talked about.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, he kind of like gets brought into this group. The second one is Peter with the couple who like
Mm-hmm.
wanted, you know, have a threesome with him, and
And
he
B, his parents.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was as uncomfortable as Peter, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
was watching that. And then the third one though is at the very end. They converge when the chess master, who's the MC of the whole tournament, and
Oh, that's right.
he's bragging about how like, oh, I'm not gonna lose to a computer program for at least 3 more years, you know, um and he even has like a bet on it, and so he plays against the winning program, and he's doing terribly, and he can't focus, and they like all surround him, and they try to like kind of like hug him and give him, you know, I don't know. I don't know what that scene means, but it was interesting.
Well, it's probably some weird, wacky way to like instill humanity into a what has become a uh, humanist's nightmare.
Yeah. I have a I wanted to circle back to Papa George though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I have a theory about Papa George. And
Okay. Give
watching
it
the
to me.
movie, I couldn't quite get 100% confirmation that this is the thing. So
Okay.
this is a conspiracy theory, or you know, um, but the movie talks about this thing. It starts by talking about this thing called the Mechanical Turk, which
Mm-hmm.
is an old the first computer, and I put that in quotes because it wasn't a computer, and they talk
Mm-hmm.
about this in the movie too. It was just a guy in a box. I think Papa George didn't have a computer program. I think the whole time his thing was a Mechanical Turk. There are two characters that lead me to think this on the side
Uh huh.
who kind of know Papa George. And there's this whole like they give him drugs and he kind of owes them money. But I also think they knew him going into the tournament. And there was one of them who's actually good at chess.
Yeah.
And I think there's some connection there. And because he
I think
also,
that's brilliant.
because Papa George does a really good job, does makes it far in the tournament. He gets second place,
Mm-hmm.
so his program is really good, but he's also very uh, he doesn't let anyone in to
Mm-hmm.
like his thing and what he's doing, and he's very independent. He doesn't have a team, and he kind of, you know, he chooses to talk about soul instead of getting into kind of the headier details of of like programming jargon and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So he has this snake oil salesman
Mm-hmm.
feel, and you always kind of get a sense that he's searching for loopholes. So
Which makes it that more fascinating that if he had played against SAR 2 or SAR 3.0, that he
mm,
would have, that might have actually been the AI versus the human, or the human versus the AI.
yeah, that's interesting.
Jamison has frozen up again.
Oh no,
Is he going to come back though?
am I back?
Is he? We'll find out.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? I'm back. I can see both of our. I think it's still recording, Blake. Oh,
Oh, he's back.
I actually.
I was giving him play by play again.
Yeah, I heard you in the play-by-play, and it was
Yeah.
still recording mine. I think maybe my recording is also going to be there, and you're going to have
Oh yeah, it will.
you trying to talk to me and me also trying to talk to you, saying like, "I
Beautiful.
see you." Yeah, it'll be perfect podcasting, just peak podcasting.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I think the lockbox of the movie would have been Papa George versus Czar,
yeah. That would have been that would have been
but
good.
that would have been too easy
Yeah,
because that's just not the kind of movie that Andrew, what's his name,
Bujalski.
Bujalski.
Yeah,
I kept wanting to say Bukowski, but I knew that couldn't be right.
no, I wasn't. I wasn't sure how to pronounce his name, and my wife gave me a really good suggestion. She was like, "Well, you should just look up a video interview where someone says his name." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I, yeah, I guess I just am learning these podcasting tricks,
Oh man,
along
there's
the
so
way.
many,
There's so
none of
many
which I've used.
podcast hack. We'll
And
have a whole episode dedicated to those later on someday.
yeah, just later
Yeah.
on. But for now, you know, if you can't pronounce a name of a director that you are talking about their film for a podcast between two white guys, uh, then you know to look up an a audio and or video and audio interview of that person where the host is forced to say their name
In front of them,
in front of them.
preferably. Yeah.
Yes, so that we can get the facial recognition that that is in fact correct.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Blake, did you have any closing comments about the movie or about the articles?
No, no, I think we covered a wide swath, and I think I'm going to include the article links into the description. That way, people can actually. Oh, oh shit! We forgot to talk about it.
We forgot to talk about it. So, we were going to record this podcast last week, last Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
but God came down and he broke Blake's AC so that we could talk about it this week and nearly forget about the glorious thing that
Story.
happened in between that time that we were like, oh, thank God that we get to talk about this, as we almost forgot. Uh, a chess robot broke a child's finger last
A
week.
7-year-old child got his finger broken by a chess robot it was playing
Yeah.
in Russia. In
Yeah.
Russia? Was it
Yeah.
Russia?
It was in Russia. Yeah.
Okay.
World championship finger breaking.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh. And
man.
and see, that's where sentience doesn't feel like a good idea to me.
I mean, look, I'm sure the robot just thought it was cleaning up a piece that was there. It's like, oh, this isn't supposed to be in this spot.
I enjoyed the article the way it was written. They said that the guy who's running the tournament was like, yes, the robot recognized the child didn't know any better and took up started moving stuff in the robot's turn, and the robot took its finger and broke it. Clearly, yes, it was not good that the robot broke his finger, but the child should have known better. You know, he acted, and the developer is very smart. All this stuff, and I'm like, man, if there's a better example of victim blaming, then I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I think there was like someone was like, we should put the robot down or something. And I was like, that doesn't make sense either.
No.
But like, you know, yeah, maybe the child should just, you know, the that robot shouldn't be played in the tournaments right now because it clearly causes physical damage to people. And that's not a good thing to have programmed into your robot, even if it's a
Yeah.
bug.
Let me just put this earwig in your ear. What if true intelligence is actually anthropomorphized through human ideals of intelligence? Would that mean that in fact that computer was the first sentient AI because its first instinct was violence?
Uh oh man. I don't know. I don't think I have another hour in me
Yes.
to take on that topic. And I also think, yeah, you're going to get garbage thoughts from me at this point. So,
Well, listeners, ponder that. Sound off in the message boards
yeah.
or the voicemails. Be as angry as you want. You're talking to two pacifists here, so just let her rip. We don't care. So yeah, do you have any other thoughts, Jameson?
I don't no, I think yeah, posting the articles is great and we'll you know what? I look forward to what's coming next where you're going to tell
Yeah,
us the next
yeah,
movie.
yeah. So I feel like that is one area that AI actually wins against humans is that they don't get tired. Um, yeah. So the movie I picked for our next episode is from 1980. It is won Best Writing, or it was nominated for Best Writing at the Oscars, uh, but it did not win. And it has largely been overlooked as a film, and it's a Robert Redford film. And it's about prison reform. So we're keeping it light, people.
Ooh.
Keeping it light. It's a little film called Brew Baker. And it is about the Arkansas prison. Basically, there's a massive issue in Arkansas prison, and the guy that Brew Baker is based on, John Merton, came in and became the warden and ended up getting fired within a year because he's trying to install a lot of reforms. And he got fired once he found a grave site with 3 bodies at the prison. And so
Oh, man.
it is a movie I recall watching with my dad. I have not seen it in probably over 20 years or more, maybe even 30 years. I recall seeing it back in high school the last time I saw it. But I remember it really imprinting some interesting ideas on my young mind at the time. And for whatever reason, the last 2 or 3 months, I've it has popped into my head numerous times, and I don't know why. And so part of the next episode is going to be why in the world did I think of this film? But we're gonna have a good conversation too, because who doesn't like talking about prison reform?
I love talking about prison reform. And that is not a lie. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah. So I do have a couple of articles. One is from the Arkansas Times called "The Arkansas Prison Scandal," which is all about. It's basically a breakdown of everything that happened with Merton, Tom Merton, and then I think there's a couple of others I may kind of push your way, but that's going to be the main one. So
Okay.
um, it's a little bit it's lengthy, but it's not that bad. So
Well, I'm very excited.
yeah.
I have not seen Brubaker. Um, and you know what? I haven't seen a ton of Robert Redford movies. So,
Get ready, man.
yeah,
He's
I'm
good,
yeah, I'm ready.
especially when he's younger.
Yeah, no, he was definitely like a super hot guy. Um, which is definitely the
Well,
metric, right? For
really pushed your nerd buttons, huh?
oh no. No. Ah. All right. All right. I
So yeah, Brubaker.
Brubaker.
So if y'all want to follow along with us, watch Brubaker. I think we're gonna try to record again in a couple weeks. Which, since this is a low effort, hopefully high quality podcast, that means we literally record and then I hurry my ass up and I put it into a format and I upload it.
I I do I want to give a shout out to listener Nate who has actually been following along, and he watched the movie we watched last time, and he also watched Computer Chess in preparation for this. So
Do you
we
know this Nate?
yeah, so
Okay, good.
he's a
Okay.
friend he's a friend of
I thought
mine.
he was just some random guy that reached out to you and was like, "Hey, dude, I'm gonna totally follow along with you
Yeah. No, I want to give a shout out. I think that he will enjoy watching Brubaker. Um, no pressure, Nate. You
Sweet.
don't have to do anything, but
Oh no! At this point,
you're
now that
locked.
I know who you are, you're locked in.
You're locked in for
You're
life.
gonna disappoint us if you don't.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I think I look forward to watching Brubaker and reading those articles. And yeah, Blake, it was lovely as always getting to talk to you
Oh, of
about
course.
computer chess. And
It was great talking to you, my friend.
yeah.
And I look forward to doing it again in a couple weeks. Keep it light next week or next time.
Yeah,
So I like that we're keeping it light
keeping it light.
on this.
Conspiracy, what it means to be human, prison reform.
Do you
Yeah.
see a common theme here?
I see a worrying trajectory.
Yes.
That's what I see.
Oh, don't worry. I'll throw a wrench in the works at some point.
Yeah. All right, dude.
well, so we neither one of us shouted out our name. So I believe that means that our podcast name is Flyby Films.
Flyby Films with
So
Blake and
everyone,
Jamison.
that's right. So everyone, next episode we will officially introduce the new podcast name. So look forward to that, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.